Hello, everyone, and welcome to Video Editing 101. I'm Carrie Morley, and I have been editing videos for a few years now. And I have been asked by a few friends over the years to put something like this together to be able to share with you how I create these videos. So I thank you so much for joining me. If you're live here today, or if you're watching the recording of this, thank you for purchasing this class. And I'm so excited for you because video editing is one of my favorite things in the world. I can just lose track of time just going through it. And it's really cool because at the end of it, you have a really cool piece of artwork. I really consider it artwork to be able to share with your friends and your family, and just to be able to have for years and years to come. So a little bit of an overview of how this is going to work. Everybody that's live with us here is muted and their video is off, just to keep the recording really clean. I am going to toggle my video on and off. So some points I'll have it on just like this when I want to chat with you guys. Other times it will slow down my computer. I will say this is a very big program that we're working in today. And so I am just a little bit concerned that it might slow down my computer. But we'll make it work. Mercury is retrograde, so everybody keep your fingers crossed that this is going to go off without a hitch. Anybody that's live, make sure that you ask questions if you have them in the little chat box. And if you're watching the recording of this and you have questions, feel free to email me at carrie@carriemorley.com, and I'm happy to answer questions after the fact too. Once you really start getting into it and playing with it, you might have other questions that come up, so feel free to email me. I'm totally happy to help with that. And you're gonna see every step that I take in creating these videos. So all the footage is from last weekend. I went with my mom, my stepdad, and my fiance, Andrew, on a little road trip. And so we're gonna use that video, and you're just gonna see me go through every piece of it. I'm going to just kind of talk out loud as I do it. It's gonna be a little bit spur of the moment. And so some of it might be kind of boring. Part of it is kind of tedious. And some of it might be way too fast for you. So I have a tendency to talk fast and do stuff really fast. So if that's too fast for you, just go along with me, watch the recording back. You might have to watch it a few times to like find the specific thing you're looking for, but hopefully you'll have a much better idea about how to create your videos after this class. And let's see. Oh, we're also going to take a break at about the 45-minute mark. I have an alarm on my phone just to get up and stretch, take a few deep breaths, and kind of like stop looking at the computer for a little while because there is going to be just a big download of information. I think it's going to take an hour and a half, but I'm not fully sure. So we're going to try to keep it under that, and we'll just get as much in as we can. And you will get the recording if you're here live. Oh, and then just a starting note, everybody's videos are going to look different. So you might see my videos and think, I want to create a video just like Carrie's, but that's not the point of it. I'm going to teach you everything that I do. And once it's in your hands, your video will be amazing because it's yours. So don't look at mine as something like you have to make it exactly like it. It's sort of like scrapbooking or any other kind of art. The whole beauty in it is that it looks like yours. So I cannot wait to see what videos you guys are going to create. And with that, let's get into it. Okay, so a little bit of a background on me before we get started. Let's see if I can get this to work. This is my very first video ever. It was a road trip that I took with my mom, and we went to visit my family. And so I just thought that it would be cool to try making a video. I liked watching YouTube and thought I can do that. So I just took video along the way. I'm actually going to stop my video here. And yeah, so this was my very first video. I didn't really know what to expect, and I just went along with it, took some video along the way, and I made it work. And so you guys will totally make amazing videos, but know that I created this with knowing nothing. I just played around in it and I figured it out. So this is going to be a much faster way for you to jump in. Now I have my Carrie and website, and that is a lot of vlogs where I'm more talking. And then I also have a separate YouTube channel that just has kind of some of my favorite videos, because these are like the ones that we're going to be going in today, where there's a song that backs it, and then it's just a bunch of clips. So you can have all kinds of different videos in whatever way you like, and after this class, you'll know how to create them, both of them, with audio and then also with a song. All right, before we get started, let's talk about equipment. So I shoot everything on the iPhone 7 Plus. Whatever kind of smartphone you have will be more than enough. If you have some fancy camera, that's great too, but you really don't need it. A few other tools that I highly recommend: a tripod of some sort, just nice to be able to have to put your videos on. I don't have one of these yet, but my mom does, and I'm probably going to steal it from her. It's a phone tripod mount adapter. That's what it's called on Amazon. I think it's like $7. This part actually screws onto your tripod, but I used it to film all the video for this video that you're going to edit today. And it's really cool because it has like a little flat piece, so you can just sit it somewhere. So even if you don't get a tripod, I'd recommend one of these, just to be able to clip your phone in and then set somewhere so that it won't move and it will just be really still. A GoPro, I have one, I use it. I didn't use any of it for this video today. For some reason, I don't even know what you would call it. I guess it is still film, but it's not really. It is really big and hard to work on Premiere Elements, and so I didn't use it for that reason, but it does give a really cool effect, and I have used it in some of my other videos that you guys have seen. Adobe Premiere Elements, obviously, this is the big one. This is what I'm going to be teaching you how to use today, so that's something you'll need. I'm using version 12. It's not the most updated version, but they all are really similar, so you can get this. I think you have to buy it in a bundle with Photoshop Elements. And I will say that there is a difference between Adobe Premiere and Adobe Premiere Elements. Whenever it says Elements, that's kind of like the cheaper version. I don't think there's that much of a difference between Premiere. Premiere is for more of the people who are like really, really doing it professional. But Elements will be just fine for what you need it for. And something else I recommend, a ring light. I use this all the time. I clip it onto, it just clips like right onto the front of the phone. And I bought one, I think it was like $8. So this just gives you a really nice soft lighting if you would like to use that. But again, that's optional. And hopefully you're doing most of your videos outdoors with a really nice light anyway. And I do have a few other different accessories and stuff that I use that aren't listed here. Something that I use a lot, I have a mount for the car windshield that kind of like grips onto the glass, and then I put my phone in that. So that's a really nice handy thing. And then other just little fun stuff like the little floating bobber thing that goes on the GoPro, because this is waterproof, so I have something that kind of like pulls it above water. So there are all kinds of little fun things that you can use, but really the only thing you need are this iPhone or smartphone of any sort, and then Adobe Premiere Elements. All right. One thing that I'll say about Adobe Premiere Elements is that it is very slow, and there is a lot of rendering process that has to go into it. And so I'm going to show you all of that in just a second. But because of the fact that I know it's going to take a little bit longer, we're going to skip ahead from step 1, which is filming, and step 2, which is uploading. We're going to skip right into step 3, and then we're going to come back to step 1 and 2. So the first thing that you are going to do when you're editing, pull up Adobe Premiere Elements, you click this video editor button, and then you hit new project. That is going to open a screen like this. So this is Adobe Premiere Elements. And the reason why I clipped it like this, again, is because I said it takes a long time. So I already have it open here with all of the video kind of laid out, but I didn't want to slow us down in the rendering time. So just to kind of give you an overview about, here, let me make this little thing go away. Preview. Just to give you an overview about the overall layout of Adobe Premiere Elements. The main pieces. This right here is going to be where we see the video. You know what? I am just going to skip to this. You guys will just start seeing it. So this is what we're working with. This is the video preview. You'll see it all the time, obviously. These here are all the different lines that you have that represent video, audio. You can put in music, anything that's obviously video or audio you put in here. This up here controls the timeline. This whole thing is called the timeline. I should mention that. Obviously, we can see where all of these time frame marks are. One thing that I use all the time is I click this little button that says Fit to Visible Timeline. That gives us the full video, all of it, and all the content that we have in there in one view. You're going to want to zoom in and zoom out depending on which piece you're working on. And this little bar right here toggles that. You can see that like the closer we get, the more you can see the sound waves and everything. But you'll see me kind of go through those pieces as we do this. I just wanted to give you that update. I don't even know what this is. I guess I'm learning as we go too. Zoom in. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay, so that's that. This is all the sound waves that are attached to the videos. So whenever I click and drag, it's going to take them both automatically. If I want to just separate the video, I can right click or control, or it's that little command thing, click on a Mac. And you can either delete either piece of it, or you can do unlink audio and video, and then it will allow you to move it together. Or move it apart separately. Does that make sense? All right, you guys following me so far? Everybody still there? All right, cool. Let's see, what else? Okay, so the first thing that you'll do when you open this program is you're gonna add in the video. And so like I said, this has already been done, but just imagine that it looks like this for now, because that's how it's gonna look as soon as you open Premiere Elements. So the first thing you're gonna do is click on this Add Media button. When that drops down, you get an option to do all kinds of different things. I always just pull it from files and folders. This just opens it up like you were browsing to upload any kind of files. And from there, I find like my pictures. Let's see, I have a separate folder for it. I would select all of them in here. You can either click and then shift, or I just do Command or Control A and then hit open. Once that's done, which I've already done, it adds them all into this project assets folder. So this shows everything that I've imported. I will tell you that I've cleaned this up a little bit. When I first opened it, there were pictures and stuff too. But for this, I only put in the video. And another cool thing about Premiere Elements is that you can use this to make picture videos too. So if you just want to make a slideshow of pictures, you can easily do that too. You know what? I'm actually going to add one in at the end here so I can show you guys. But what you do is it's the same kind of thing. You have to select all of them, and then you just click and drag, and you'll see how it kind of makes a mask of it. I've already done that, so that's why all of these are here. And now I'm going to add in a picture though. So let's see, if I don't want to go through and try to figure out which ones are pictures, I can click this button that will hide the audio, click this one that will hide the video, and now I'm just looking at the pictures. So I'm going to pick this one and just plop it in here at the end so that we can play with it before we're done. Cool. Next thing I want to get into a little bit is the song. So how do I pick songs? First, I try to pick songs just personally that not a lot of people know. I think it kind of is better to have either like a remake of a song or just something that goes along with the video but isn't like super popular. That's your call. I will tell you that I always get copyright emails from YouTube because I use other people's songs. I might get in trouble for that someday, but right now I'm such a small fish in a big pond that I just am hoping nobody really will care. And if you're using it just for your own personal entertainment, it's really not a big deal. But that's just something that you might want to keep in mind. If you get one of those emails ever from YouTube, just ignore it. But don't tell them I said that. So I pick songs that aren't super popular, that have a really good beat and something that's going to be able to go along with the song. I have a little folder that I keep of songs that might be good for videos one day, which is how I picked the song today. And also it needs to be a song that you won't get sick of, because you're going to see really soon that we do like little bits and pieces over and over and over again. Sometimes Andrew, if I'm not wearing headphones, will be like, can you put on headphones? Because I'm so tired of hearing the same line 5 million times. So yeah, songs you won't get sick of. The song that I picked today, it's called Let's Be Young by Evan McHugh. And I haven't imported it yet because one of the things that I've found that took me a little while is it won't import as the way that it downloads from iTunes. So you will need to be able to actually download the file. iTunes does this, but like I use Spotify all the time. Spotify won't work obviously because you don't own the song. But one thing that you'll have to do is go in and select the song once it's already downloaded to your computer. You can see all of these are just kind of in my cloud. I would have to download it first in order to be able to convert it like I'm going to. But this is downloaded. So you go to File, Convert, and then Create MP3 version. You're going to need the MP3 version in order to be able to import it into Adobe Premiere Elements. So let's give that a second to think. That means it's done. Cool. So now we're going to go back over here and we're going to do the exact same thing. This add media, no matter what kind of media you're using, pictures, video, audio, songs, anything, it comes through this add media. So let's find it really quick. Let's see. Evan McHugh. And you'll see they're both in here, but the one version won't work. So I have to make sure that I'm using the MP3 version. Let's see what the other one even is called. MPEG-4 audio. That does not work. Can you guys see that? So we're going to pick the MP3 version, open it, and it's going to do the exact same thing that all of this video and photo did. Then I'm going to click and drag this. You can either put it in the narration or the soundtrack. I like to put it there. And these little buttons toggle making it bigger or not. I'm just going to leave it small because it doesn't super matter that I see all the different sound waves. But kind of keep that in mind because I'm going to show you how to edit your audio as we go further into this. So you can see I have like over 25 minutes of video and I have a less than 3-minute song. So we're going to cut out a lot of this. We're going to shorten a lot of it. But keep that in mind when you're picking a song too. Some things I know that I will not have a lot of video footage for, so I try to pick shorter songs. Some things I know I'm going to have a ton of footage for, so I try to either pick longer songs or I'll pick 2 songs. But it's always kind of a fine balance trying to have enough video to fill the full song, because obviously when you're filming the video, you're not really thinking about how long it's actually going to take. It's kind of hard. It's just kind of hard to play around with ahead of time in your brain. I always recommend filming more video than necessary, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the actual filming part when this is kind of rendering. Speaking of rendering, you might be like, what the heck is that? So see how all of these up here, this whole line right here is green? That means that all of these videos are rendered. And to the best of my knowledge, what I've learned about rendering, it means that it shows the preview of it. So if you don't render it, it goes a lot slower. It's a lot choppier in this playback. So I have to render on a regular basis. And I do that by just hitting this button. You can see this clip that I added in right here, this like little tiny picture. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's this little bit of orange. That means it's not rendered. So I'm going to go ahead and hit render now. So it will only do that one little thing. Boop. Great. Let's be young. And it always restarts it. So that really honestly takes me the longest time. I did this video before we started. I just kind of pulled some stuff out and like put it in the way that I wanted it. And it took about 20 minutes to render this much footage. I've had it go much longer and I've had it go shorter. So that's kind of just something you have to be patient with and just go along with it. I know it's kind of a pain, but it's worth it in the end. All right, let's see where we're at. I think it's probably time to just jump in and start editing. So again, like I said, some of this might be kind of tedious, but you guys will get to see my cool footage and hopefully you guys will like it. And I'm just going to kind of talk through every little piece, and I hope you guys like this song because you guys might get sick of it too. Can you guys put a chat and just say like good or something just so I can know that you guys are still doing good? And actually, let me play a little bit of this and make sure. Let's be young, let's be kids, let's do all those things that we never Perf. Okay. So first thing, I go through and delete a lot of the audio. So how you do that is you right click and you hit delete audio. Now this is going to take me a super long time. So the fast fix to this is you can click and drag and select multiple things at a time. I'm not going to go too far ahead because I want to show you, sometimes I really like keeping in some of the audio that just goes a little bit over the song. But for the most part, I like deleting it. And I'm just going to go through and start clipping these, and you'll kind of see how I put them like to the beat. So let's just jump in. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that too.
Let's be young, let's be kids, let's do
You guys see how I'm doing that, just clipping it to the time?
all those things that
Okay,
we
this is like
never
the same
did.
thing. So I'm going to delete this. You're referring to the audio on the video that you are deleting, right? Yes. Thank you, Diane. When you click on it and you do delete audio, it's going to delete it from whatever you're clicked on. So if you wanted to just delete the song, you could do it from down here, but then we wouldn't have music. So yes, just delete the audio that's attached to that specific clip. Thank you. Okay, let's see. A lot of these are going to be similar clips. Don't freeze on me. And I will also add in this play and pause. You can either hit it here, or I just hit the space bar. This little bar is tracking as we go along. I don't know why it froze. I'm going to save it too. Always save. We all know this though, right? That's true for anything. Okay, we're just going to give it some time to think. Please work. All right, well, you know what? Let me close this out because we already have that. See if that'll make it go faster.
Let's be young,
there we go.
Let's be kids, let's do all those things
okay,
that
so this
we
is the
never
same
did.
clip, so I'm just going to delete that. And you'll see, like I said, it's going to, this bar
Those
thing
things
shows
that
where
we
we're at.
never did. Let's be young, come on.
I'm not really, that's kind of blurry, so I'm going to delete that. We have obviously more than enough footage. It cuts down fast, but I'd rather be,
Let's be kids,
like really picky about it because
let's
I know
do
that
all those things that we never did.
So cute. Okay, so I want to get Doug's wave in there. So I just drag it to the part where I want to clip, hit this little cut button, and then it splits these two in half. So then I come and I click over on this one and I delete it, and it just automatically bumps it up to it.
Let's do all those things that we never did.
Okay, well that's a fail. So I'm going to start again. The wave is going to be out. So clip that, delete that piece.
Let's do all those things that we never did. Let's be young.
Cute. And I might be clipping out some other cute stuff, but we only have so much room here.
Come on, let's be kids. Let's go get.
All right, so you guys see how I kind of wait for those pickups? You can kind of also just see by the bars where it is playing. Let's see. I think this is. Yeah, nope.
Let's go kicking off our shoes, stroll around the room, hum a little tune,
okay.
Sing it.
So this video I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm not really ready to delete it yet because of the fact that I want to make sure that that I have enough. I'm sure I will, but I have been known to just pick this up and drag it to the end and just kind of like start a little bank back here of stuff that is extra if I have room for it. I'll tell you, these pieces up here too are out of order. I got these clips from my mom's phone, and so they were out of order in here, and so I just picked them up and put them up here, and I'm going to find a place for them where it actually fits, which is somewhere in this range. So when you zoom back in, it's going to automatically go to wherever this bar is. So if I wanted to like zoom in over here, I could just click here and put the bar there. Oh, that's a great place to stop. There's a dead thing. And then it will zoom in there. But I'm trying to get back to the place where I'm going. So let's click the fit to timeline, click back over here and zoom in. Okay, and see now we have a space here. So we're going to have to click and I drag on all of them just as far as I can see and click and drag it up further. All right.
Let's go kick it off our shoes, stroll around the room.
See, I'm kind of shaky at the beginning, so I usually try to cut out the first few seconds unless they're really good, because I'm kind of like trying to get the shot.
Let's go kick it off our shoes, stroll around the room. I'm a little too.
All right, that's good. Oops.
I'm a little tune, singing la 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 la. Let's go fly.
Okay, that's kind of a long clip of Doug.
I'm a little tune, singing la.
All right, so we're just going to kind of clip them short. I like having them really short. Other people like longer videos.
Let's go fly.
That's nice, Gary. But I like, that's kind of my style, is just being really quick and just little previews and snippets, because then it makes it
singing la 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 la.
I know
let's go
I'm waiting for that. Let's cut it here.
Singing la 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 la. Let's go fly.
Cute. All right. So that's
climbing up a tree, jumping in the leaves, scraping up eyes, singing la 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 la.
I use the front-facing camera a lot of the time to make sure that I'm in the frame. So let's clip it there.
Let's go climbing up a tree, jumping in the leaves, scraping up eyes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm still going to clip it a little bit more.
Let's go climbing up a tree, jumping in the leaves, scraping up our knees.
Let's get even shorter. Can you turn the music down? It's hard to hear when it's playing. I cannot because of Zoom, but I will talk louder or I'll just pause when I need to talk. Thank you for that.
Climbing up a tree, jumping in the leaves, scraping up our knees, singing.
Cool. So I wanted to get that clip of me eating in there.
La 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 la.
Okay, side note, this is like my favorite video ever because this is where me and Andrew are getting married, like in this exact spot. So this was us like standing there planning, but it's so cute. Okay.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Okay, see, this is where I kind of come up to a crossroads because I don't want to let it go on for too long. I'm going to clip out a little bit at the beginning because I'd rather have it when it goes up into the
scraping up eyes, singing la 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 la.
Right from there.
Singing la 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 la. La 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 la. Let's be young.
Okay, so I actually want to clip it there. So what I'm going to do, if I just delete this from here, this whole piece is going to come up. So what I do a lot of the time is I move it up here and then delete it because otherwise then it gives me that little space to be able to play with. And so I decided, I heard that last la 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 la, and I want this clip to be just a little bit longer because I know that I have the space. So I'm going to click it back and drag it, like, do you guys see how I did that? Just drag it to the side a little bit. And then I can click right here at the start of it, just drag it to this, and it makes it longer. It just extends the video. So even though I clipped it before, by dragging it like that, it will add that back in. And that will actually work at the front or the back. on average, how long does it take me to make a 5-minute video? Hours. Hours. Probably, I would say, I mean, it depends. Something like this, probably about 2 hours from start to finish. On some of the vlogs that I'm doing, it will take less time, but there is a lot of just like tedious going through and clipping it like this. So let's see. I'm going to go back to here. I probably won't get through this whole video today, but I'm also talking a lot and explaining it. So yeah, but a couple hours.
Singing la 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 la, la 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 la. Let's be young, let's be kids, let's do all those.
So here's a moment of that I'm going to clip this part out. And I'm just going to keep showing you guys a little bit of this. We'll get to some other stuff that will be kind of like fun transitions and everything in just a minute.
La la, la 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 la. Let's be young, let's be kids, let's do all.
And again, I'm just hitting spacebar to start and stop the audio.
All those things that we never.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. He ruined that piece, so I'm going to clip that out. And some of these start getting really small, so if you ever need to zoom in.
Let's be kids, let's do all those things that we never did. Let's be young.
Okay, let's find one that has some audio. Give me just a second. So I'm deleting the audio from all of these. Delete audio. That one won't have audio either. Oh, I know what I'm going to do for audio. I'll show you guys. I'm almost there.
Let's do all those things that we never did. Let's be young. Oh, come on, let's be.
Delete this piece.
Be young. Oh, come on, let's be.
No, I wave. I want the wave. So I'm going to delete this part out too.
Never did. Let's be young. Oh, come on, let's be.
I like that shot. Okay, so you'll also notice, like, hear how the song kind of changed. It went from the chorus to the, I can't even think of what it's called, the verse. I kind of try to clip videos like that. Like, you're going to have obvious kind of transition points. So this video is kind of made up of 3 different parts. Let me just clip this out of here so I can, we have like the road trip up and the Coles Ranch area right here. And then we're going to go to, we went to get firewood. So like a big chunk in here is all us getting firewood. And then the last chunk is, well, actually the third chunk is shooting guns. And we went to like an area where we could shoot and like in that space. And then the last part is like coming home. So whenever the music changes, it's just kind of like a nice, happy accident that it happened like this now. But I do kind of take that into account of like when it goes up and down in the arc of the song to try to make it go with the video.
Come on, let's be.
Okay, so that's a little bit shaky.
Come on, let's be kids. We could get.
Perfect. So that's where it's going to change, and that's perfect because that is right in the time. I'm actually okay. First thing first, when I'm deleting these, I'm clicking them and then just hitting the delete button. You can right click, I think, and hit delete. Just kidding. Oh yeah, you can right here, delete. But I think it's just easier. I try to do as much on the keyboard as I actually can. Because of the fact that I'm going to switch stuff around. Actually, I'll delete this one now because I know that's where that piece of it is going to end. And now this starts the new clip of video. But this is where we ended up, I think. Yeah. This is the going to the new place. So I'm actually going to pull this up here and move it back here. You'll see that it automatically kind of jumps to where the breaking points are. But I'm going to move this clip up here and then just move this clip back down in the video. It will work. I will say whatever is on top is going to be the one that actually shows. So if I put it like this, you'll see it's going to jump from this video to this video.
We could count the shooting stars, radio to Mars.
See, even though it's still going, whatever is the highest is going to show. And that is cool because, like, let's say maybe you want to make this one like an inset or something. You can click and drag on these, and this is true. I do this a lot. You can make it bigger or smaller. Let's just to show you. When you would want to overlap it is, let's say you want this to be like an inset. You can just make it smaller, put it here, and then it will, you'll need to render it again because see it's yellow because we changed the So that's kind of a lame, weird video, but know that that's an option. That's why you would want to stack them. And another cool thing is sometimes like I will want to zoom in on stuff just to kind of either because there's stuff in the side of it that I don't want to see, or because it is like I just kind of want to add interest. So I might do like a same clip just zoomed in, and yeah. So, but that's how you do that. You can just click and drag in the corner. So let's delete this audio from here.
We could count the shooting stars, radio to Mars, secrets in the dark.
Now this one is still yellow, but we'll render it in a second. It might be too slow.
Whisper, la 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 la. We could.
And I actually see, I kind of messed it up, but you guys get the idea. It bugs me. I'm a perfectionist about these things, but I'd rather it be too big than have space on the side. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to render it because I want that to be fast. All right, cool.
Let's be
always going to start from the beginning. So we're just going to go back to where
secrets in the dark. Whisper, la 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 la.
Okay, that's way too long for my taste, personally. So let's click that.
Secrets in the dark. Whisper, la.
I know it seems fast. Again, just my personal preference of how I want it to go. But you guys might like longer videos.
La 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 la. We could find a place to hide and catch.
Okay, this is kind of, let's see. Oh. Okay, I'm going to save again. Here's something that comes up quite a bit. This little, see there's like a little gap. Let me zoom in. Even though it doesn't look like much when it's zoomed out, that little gap will make the video black. So let's see.
La, la, la.
See how it dips to black really quick? That's a tricky thing. I always watch my videos before I fully upload them. I watch them super zoomed in like this. Otherwise, you might miss it. Like if it's like this, you might just be going along and not even realize that it dips to black. And so that does just kind of happen. The way to fix it is just to click and drag. Sometimes if I like have a big space, I'll zoom out and click and select every single piece and then drag it up a little bit so that it fits, and it will automatically like jump to it. So that's cool. But keep in mind that if there's nothing there, it's going to go to black.
Whisper, la, 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 la.
That's kind of cool. Okay, I like that. It doesn't even really matter to me so much what the rest of the video looks like because I know I already have a good clip of it and I don't want to just have a lot of the same to just try to keep it really fresh. Okay, cool. So now we're going to get to the part where there starts being chainsaws. And I am going to delete the audio because I know which one I want to use already. I think it'll be cool to have just like a little bit of the chainsaw sound because otherwise it's just like, what's the point of using chainsaws if it's not going to be loud, right? So let's show you how I do that. Oops, see there's a little gap again. Okay, and I watched this earlier. I know there's a part where it falls. And I want that. Okay, so I'm going to actually just clip it here and delete these two pieces.
We could find a place to hide, catching fireflies, staying up all night.
Okay, but I want it to end there. So again, we pull this out, and I usually just push it to the end unless I want to create more at the end. And then click and drag from here. And like I said, it just adds in the video that was ahead of it that I already cut out. Let's see how that works.
We could find a place to hide, catching fireflies, staying up all night, waiting for the sunrise.
Okay, there's some chainsaws, but let me see. I think perfect. Okay, I'm gonna actually just clip out this one altogether because this is really the clip that I want. Okay, so let's talk about audio. I'm gonna zoom in some more. So with the audio, first of all, these little yellow lines right here show you how, like, how do I want to say this? For the audio, it's how loud it is. So if I have it like all the way down here, I can click and drag it. If I have it way down here, it's not going to play anything. It's almost the same as me deleting it. I like to increase the sound of the audio when it is going to go over music. Sometimes I'll actually clip, you can do the exact same thing where you clip parts of the song, and then I could like make this part lower. So sometimes I'll want the audio, like I'll want you to actually be able to hear what we're saying. If that's the case, I'll clip it like this, put the sound on the music down way low, and then put the sound of it would be a voice in this case up way higher. For this, I don't really want the chainsaw to be like super loud. I just want you to be able to kind of hear it in the background. So I'm not going to change the audio from the song, but I am going to fade this music in so that it's not just like all of a sudden. And so to do that, you right click on the audio, and then you go up to this place where it says fade. And you can do fade in audio and video, which means it'll fade in from black and the music will fade in. But for this one, I don't want to fade in the video. I just want to fade in the audio so it's not just blaring from the start. So this gives me this nice little angle in. If I only want it to take I want it to be shorter, I just click and drag this. I can make it fade in as long as possible. For purposes of this, oops, that's the cue to take a break, but I'm going to finish my thought really quick. For purposes of this, I want it to be pretty fast because it's going to be a short clip. I just don't want it to blast. So, and then I want it to be up pretty high because I do want it to go over the music. So let's see how that sounds.
Up all night, waiting for the sunrise.
All right. I'm actually going to clip it shorter. So when I do clip it, it's going to remove this because I'm going to delete this part. I want to get it when it's really going. So we're going to have to add in that fade again. And then let's make it shorter again.
Up all night, waiting for the sunrise.
Perfect. And then that's going to be a perfect time to switch to. Another thing that I'll say, when I am doing my vlogs and I'm actually talking to the video, I'm not really going to go I guess I'll teach you everything I know about sound because I don't really know that much about it. But with the sound, I always, in my voice videos, have to increase the audio gain. So what does that mean? See how these lines are pretty small in here? If I want to make it louder, I right click again. Everything that you're going to need is always going to be in that right click. And I go to audio gain. You can change this to whatever you want. I usually click normalize and watch this line right here to see what it's going to do. So it just kind of spikes it a little bit more, creates a clearer sound. I do this with all of my vlogs when I'm talking, just so that there's a really crisp, clear sound. And you can always change it to make it makes it louder. So that's really what it does. It just makes it louder. It makes it so that you can actually hear what's going on. And then you can still click and drag it, but that really changes just the quality of the sound. You'll see that the normalized level was 3. I mean, I could put this to 20 and it's just going to be off the charts. But I might make this one, let's see, I'm not even going to need the audio for this clip, so that's why I'm playing it, but let's delete it. I kind of don't feel like this chainsaw is loud enough, so I'm going to just bump it up just like a little bit. We'll put it to 3 and see what happens. Now it might be too loud.
Up all night, waiting for the sunrise. Just you and I.
Perfect. I'm also going to fade it out at the end. So same thing, you just do fade out audio. And then I'm going to make it, oops, I didn't mean to hit clip. So Control Z does undo. And I'm going to move this out of the way so I can grab this little dot. Move it over here. Same thing, if you want it to be like faded out, kind of, you guys get that, how it's like fading in and out?
Up all night, waiting for the sunrise. Just you and I.
Love that. Okay, let's take a break really quick. Let me turn my video back on. How are you guys doing so far? I'm actually going to do a stop share just so we're not like staring at this. So let's take a break. Take a few deep breaths, stretch out however you want. You guys might not be as tired as me. I'm not really that tired, but just to kind of change up the energy, I'm going to do some, hold out your hand like this, grab it back. This helps with mousing. And then push it down. Just kind of roll it out. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. I'm further away from the microphone. And then other arm. Maybe do some neck rolls, some side to side. All right. Shake it all out. And that's that. Let's get back to it. I just felt like we would need a little bit of a break. All right. I'm going to stop my video again. Okie dokie. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, this will be a cool one. So this long clip right here, the one that's the longest out of the whole thing, is just, I took it, I just set it up, and I forgot about it for a little while for the purposes of making it a time lapse. So this is where we're going to jump back into the film because it takes a little while to render when we do time lapses because it's like squishing it all together. I've already deleted the audio from this piece. If you don't, it's going to be like super high pitch and just like really fast. So I always recommend deleting audio from when we're doing these time lapses. But how you do that, again, you right click on it and we're going to hit this time stretch button. So the speed is automatically set to 100%, obviously. If you want to make it like go longer, you would go to 50%. We're going to go really fast. When I was playing around with this earlier, I tried 800% and that wasn't even fast enough for me. I like it to go super fast. So I'm going to make it, I'm just trying to think. We'll go 1100. So it's going to show you how much it's going to clip it. It still is going to be too long, but we'll at least have a clip. So there we go. It just totally shrunk it. And like you can see, it's going to need to be rendered. These videos take a while because of the fact, like see there are 849 frames. It's long and it's going to a short time. So in the meantime, we are going to jump back over to my presentation. Yay. All right. Okay, here's the real meat of this workshop. Let's switch to Adobe Premiere Elements. We already did that. So step one, let's talk about filming because the most important part of your video is the film. There have been many times where I thought I was filming a great video and I came home and realized that I didn't have enough or it just doesn't really come together easily unless you have great video, obviously. So this is the most important part. A few tips on filming. Number one, turn your phone horizontal. This might seem like an obvious thing, but a lot of people just naturally are filming vertically now because of the nature of iPhones and Snapchat and all those kinds of good things. You can still include a video in your film if it's smaller. It will just have black on the sides, which is okay, but for purposes of making it really clean and like a movie, obviously, we want to turn it horizontal. And it's in the same way that I showed you how to kind of inset that other video, that you would do that with a vertical video or just anything. Like you can really move it and make it bigger and smaller. But one of my main tips is to film it horizontal. Focus on the angle, an obvious one. Make sure that your lighting is good. Make sure that you don't have a lot of shadows in if possible. Oops, sorry, just dropped something. And like I said, I do a lot of it with the front-facing camera so that I can see what's going on. Try to be as still as possible. Use a tripod or hold the phone up against something. This is also super important. I am super shaky when I'm filming, so that little tripod adapter or the tripod itself will be super helpful. But try to be as still as possible because you'll really notice it when you put it back in the camera or back into Premiere Elements. Take more than you think you'll need. Again, oops, that means that my video is done rendering. Again, you guys saw that I have like 30 minutes of video that we're trying to clip into 3 minutes. So just take as much as possible. I take long clips with the idea that about 2 seconds of it is going to be used. So always take more than you think you'll need. Don't forget to get still filler shots. So you'll see some of these come up. But I like to just take from a bunch of different angles. So whether that means setting it over to the side and getting a good shot from far away, or it means setting it on the floor and getting just our feet as we walk by. I have a clip like that you guys will see. Or maybe it just means that you're just kind of setting it somewhere and forgetting about it. Just kind of try to make like a whole bunch of different angles and don't feel like you need to have people in all of them. Just kind of try to get some of the environment and the surroundings because then it's really going to come across better for the people who are watching it back. And my biggest one, make sure that you are in the video. I know that it's hard to see yourself on camera, and we're going to talk more about this in just a second, but it really makes it more fun if you're in it. And I feel like there have been a few videos, like including my cousin's bachelorette party. I got all this video, and then I came home and realized I wasn't in any of it. And it's kind of a bummer because it makes you forget. I mean, obviously you're shooting it, but it kind of like makes you forget that you're there. So don't be afraid to get yourself in the video and set up a lot of self-timer shots, or I mean, not even self-timer. I usually just sit it there, hit start, and then walk away because I know I can clip out the parts of me walking to and from the camera later. So a little bit more on filming yourself. Everyone feels awkward. I promise you. You will feel super uncomfortable watching yourself back. I have watched back so much of my video, and it doesn't, I would say it doesn't get easier, but it does sort of. But I always feel awkward. I always feel like silly and goofy and stupid. But that's what people love, is that they want to see you being you. So don't be afraid to get yourself on camera. It's like the most important part. Please, everybody? Okay, good. As far as filming other people, people get kind of nervous about you filming them too. And like for good reason, because if somebody puts a camera in your face, like what I just said, you're going to feel uncomfortable being on camera too. Something that I've found that helps people feel more comfortable is by telling them that you're going to remove all of the audio and that all you're going to use is the song, if that is the case, of course. But that kind of usually tends to help. And it really like changes the style of the video. Like if you guys just watched, if I just clipped these little clips that I've created and you watched like 5 minutes of just random sound, it would be so boring. So it really changes the whole style. And yeah, some people just, when you tell them that you're not going to be able to hear their voice, they feel more comfortable with that. So that is my tip for you. And find cool angles to set your camera that people will forget they're being filmed. Again, this is kind of back on making a whole bunch of different angles. I like to set it just to the side, and then people just don't even really realize. Or maybe you're like at that angle that I have at the breakfast table where I just kind of propped it up against some ketchup and then did my thing and just let it run for a little while, because then you get cool, just spontaneous, awesome video of the people that you love. All right, so step 2, obviously upload. And I hope you guys all know how to do that on your own computers. I just put them all in one folder and then click in and drag like I showed you at the beginning of this. Step 3 is editing. So let's go back to that since we already have it, since now it's been rendered. All right, cool. Let's see. I don't think we're going to have time to go through all of it today, but I will still edit it and post it on YouTube so you guys can see. I just want to see if there are any other places where I wanted to show you guys something. Let me look at my list of notes. Okay. Okay, so a few things. Let's jump to the end. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to take all of this and pretend like we're at the end of our video, just because I don't want to make you guys sit through all of this editing. So let's just say all of this is already cut and trimmed down, and then these are the last few clips. So let's see. First of all, let's see how our time lapse turned out. We'll finish with
Waiting for the sunrise. Just you and I.
Okay. Let's get a little bit of that. I don't want you to be able to see me starting.
Just you and I. Let's be young.
Cute. Okay. I might cut some more of that, but you guys can kind of see how it goes. So that's it. 1100%. I honestly might even make it go faster just because I really like it to be like super fast. But that's how you do that. That's under time stretch, just to remind you guys. All right, cool. So now we're at the end of our video. I like to kind of wind it down. I'm really telling a story through the whole thing. I hope you guys can kind of see that. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier, as far as like the different sections of it. I'm really trying to create a whole story arc. So it's like the beginning, we go to Cole's Ranch, we do all this stuff, and then at the end, we're coming home. So there's like a clear ending and a clear just wrap up to the video. You can see that where it ends. So this kind of sucks, but even though it's a however long song, like I don't know what that is, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the last few seconds are usually just dead air. So let's listen to the end. Okay, so it kind of ends there. So I usually just kind of work backwards. And I really like including pictures at the end because, I don't know, I just do. Pictures and like maybe a little bit of text just to kind of wrap it up. What is this? Oh, this is that extra video that I clipped that I thought maybe I would have room for. I'm not. I'm just going to delete it now. So with pictures, I really like to add in transitions and fades. This is, again, something that you're going to determine if you like doing or not. I personally don't like doing transitions in between my videos, partially because, well, as you can see, I have so much video, and that takes time away from the video that I'm using. And because I like to keep them so short and just snappy and quick, I don't like using transitions, but maybe you will. So for pictures, this is in here upside down, right? So we're going to do the same thing that we did before, but I really wanted to show you this because I have made picture montages on here, and it's the exact same. You just click and drag in the pictures. You can cut these if you want them to be shorter. I think when you automatically import them, they're 5 seconds. I don't know that for sure. It might be 3. So first of all, let's make this not upside down. So you can go down to the corner and until you get this little, I just had it. This little arrow that looks like you're going to turn it. Come on. Okay, we'll make it go a little bit smaller. Oh, there we go. So just go out to the corner until you get to this turny arrow icon. Let's flip it around. And then obviously just straighten it out so it's straight. I think that's pretty close. And then zoom in. And so you can see that this picture doesn't go to the full size of the canvas, I will call it. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more and then just make it fit because I want to include this picture. Cool. Again, you'll have to render it each time because you're changing the look of it. And so it needs to update the preview. So let's render it, but that won't take long.
Let's be.
And then when we go back here, let's see how long it'll go. Okay, that's way too long. So let's clip it a little bit. And I want it to fade out at the end. So again, right click, hit fade, and then fade out video. Um, unknown if I want it to fade in yet, but I think I'll add it in just for purposes of this, but it kind of depends on what we put before it. We'll delete that audio.
Let's be young.
Beautiful. And I also like to include a little bit of text. So I do this, I usually only do it at the beginning or the end to tell what it is, or like to write a message like, I love you, Andrew, you're the best, or, you know, anything that I add in text. Let's save this first because the text sometimes gets a little finicky. But all of these buttons down here are all the effects and graphics and everything that you might want to use for your video. So for titles and text, find one that you like. I never use any of these. The only one that I ever use is this default text. And it's just the same way that you dragged your video and pictures in. You just click it from here and then drag it to the timeline from where you want it. Once it's in here, it becomes like a regular photo and video and everything else, including it adds it in project assets. I'll tell you, if you try to, like, let's say you put one at the end and then you decide you want one at the beginning too, and so you copy it and paste it, it will change it because it sees it as the same clip. So every time you need to add a new clip, you have to go down to here and go titles and text and then click and drag it in. So hopefully that makes sense. You can't copy and paste. You have to add a new one every time, which is a pain, but I go with it because I want it to be a good video. Okay, so let's see, what should I make this say? Road trip for, I'm probably not going to leave this in, honestly, but I just want to show you guys how to do the text. Road trip for, I'll put it on a new line, for firewood. Yay. Okay. Over here, you can change all of the text and everything. The font, I mean. I always center it. And then these two buttons here, they align it into the center of the frame. That's good sometimes, but sometimes I add different fonts. So I'll show you that in just a second too. I have my favorite fonts. Let's see. My favorite one is Fajala. I don't know if I can find it. Okay, well that won't work. It doesn't really matter. I just am kind of picky about fonts. Oh my gosh, I'm way at the end now. Okay, we'll just pick one. Wide Latin. Actually, it's going to stick with Boogaloo. That's fine. Okay. You can change the color of it. You can change the animation style shapes. I honestly never have. It's more like if you want them to fade in or, you know, swipe in. I just like to leave it plain, and then I usually fade it in and fade it out. So let's say I want to add another line under here that is in a different font. These modes will change it. So I'm going to click this little button, and that allows me to move the font that I've already put in here. And then I'm going to add another text box by clicking this little T button. This thing will make it go vertical, so it'll go down like that. Click over here again and just put yay. Okay. And I'm going to make that in MS Gothic. Ooh, okay. Center, center, center. Okay, well, obviously I don't want it centered because it's going to go over it, but that's how you can add in. You can just pretty much do whatever you need to do on this page in order to be able to make it how you want to look text-wise. And then, like I said, it's just like a regular photo or video on here. So I'm going to make it, I'm going to click on it and do fade in video and then fade out video, so that it will fade out that and then fade in that. And again, this is the same thing like I showed you for the audio. So let's say you want it to be a super low or slow fade. I'll zoom in so you can see it up close. You can move this, and that determines how long it's fading in for, how long it's fading out for, how long it is all the way up. And if you want to decrease how it looks, you can go like this. I think, see, it makes it kind of like opaque. I want it to be like the rest of the video. Ooh, really slow. And now it's going to slowly fade out. So keep that in mind too. I never ever change the level of the video, but you could get really creative and do like an inset that's sort of see-through, by like stacking a video, making this one sort of see-through, and then lining it over another one, and it would make like a cool effect. To delete these, let's see if I can remember how. You right click on it. Maybe not. You click on the little, yeah, okay. So to delete these, you click on the little dots that are like actually controlling it and just hit delete. And it will delete them. So that way it just is always like high on that level. I'm going to show you guys how to do a transition. Delete, delete. Okay, so let's say that instead of fading this out and then fading this in, I want it to like do some kind of cool shape. So this transitions button is where all of the transitions live. And so let's see, I did a cool one on another video, something I've never done, that did like a star. Let's see if I can find that. Well, here, you can change, okay. So automatically when you pull it up, it's gonna show you these standard ones. If you click here and do change category and just do show all, then it's gonna show you all of the categories so you can actually go through, and it's pretty easy to figure out like what they do. I think if you click on it, you can preview it. Yeah. Whoop. This one would be like, this is pretty much the same as me just fading it out and then fading it back in, because it's just gonna dip to black like how I already had it. This one will make it, this one might be kind of cool. It would be cool if I had another video, but I'm not going to use that either. I want to find a shape. Iris, that's what I'm talking about. So this one does like a star shape. Woo. So you just click and drag it like anything else. Put it in between the two clips that you want to transition. You can decide how long it takes. I always leave it at 1 second, and I always leave it between clips. But you can do, if you put it on the right, it's going to transition later in the clip. If you put it on the left, it will transition at the beginning of the next clip. I always do 1 second between clips. And then when we hit done, let's render it really quick so we can make sure we see it in good time. Otherwise, it might just be kind of like,
Let's be young.
Okay. So now let's go back over to here.
Let's be young.
Pretty. Yay! Oh, I like that. I'm like kind of into the new shapes. So see how cool that is, how it just transitions. Whoop. If you decide you don't like that one, you can click on it and then either right click and hit delete, or as long as it's selected, you can just click on it and then hit delete, and then it just makes it go back to whatever it was. All right. So all kinds of transitions on there for you guys to play around with. I've seen videos done super cool that use a lot of transitions. So don't think that just because I don't do it, it's not cool, because I really, I like them when they're used well. And so let's see, I've taught you how to add text, how to import video, photos, song, how to choose a song, how to change the audio gain in order to have it be louder or quieter, how to zoom in or flip videos, how to make it if it's like too small for the video, how to add them in. I think that's almost it. I got done faster than I thought I would. I guess I thought I was going to go through this whole clip. I'll save you guys the slow pieces. One thing I do want to mention, let's see, what was I just thinking? Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Sometimes clips will come in. So I took this clip of this. We found like a dead animal. And when I imported it in, for some reason, it came up like this. So this is like the same kind of thing that you would have for like any kind of long videos. And I think that the reason why this one didn't come in right is because of the fact that I had it, my phone didn't realize that it had turned vertically. So it's taking it long ways. If this happens to you, again, same kind of thing. You can leave it like this if it is a video that's long, or again, you can just go down to the button or to the side until you get this little toggle thing that turns it. Oh man, I just had it. and turn it. Okay, or not. And I will say that I have done videos where people, like I'm collecting videos from other people and they don't realize that they have to turn it. So their videos are long, but I still have to include them. And when I do that, I'm just going to undo it for a second. So just imagine that this is like an up and down video. I try to get it as close as I can because otherwise you're going to have these black bars on the side, which isn't a big deal, but if like, let's say that the person's head is like from here to here and this part down here is not really that necessary, I'll zoom it in and just put it only on the most important part just to kind of not have as much black space. I just think it kind of turns out nicer. But for purposes of this, I don't even need this. So I'm just going to delete it. And you can tell I was like, oh, it's not even recording it right. There are another couple cool shots I just want to show you, like this. Okay, so this is what I was talking about having just some filler shots. It's kind of nice to be able to just have a different perspective that's not people. So for this, I just like set it on the ground and just filmed for a second. And I think it turned out so cool. There's one right here, I think it's this, where my mom and I just kind of walk across the screen. So just be thinking about that. Like, how can you get cool shots that don't necessarily have people in them, but still help to tell the story? Yeah. Just some kind of, like, I don't even know what you would call them, just ambient video. I'm afraid the sticks are going to close. All right, you guys. I think that's it. Did we really go that fast? Well, I guess it's not really that fast. Does anybody have any questions? Are you guys like totally overwhelmed? Did I go too fast? Do you guys like, I don't know. Just tell me what you think. Are you excited to create videos? All right. Are you going to show how to upload to YouTube? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me do that really quick because that's the last step in my thing. Publish. Okay. So to create to YouTube. Okay, so this is something that I will admit that I'm not super, I just kind of made up on my own and I think it works out okay. So when you're done, let's say it's all done, you've rendered it, pretend like it's all in this little chunk. It shouldn't be this separated. What you're gonna do, first things first, I always make sure that this bar, see how it like changes to a darker color gray right here? I always make sure that it's all the way to the end of where I want to clip it. Otherwise, sometimes I've downloaded my videos and then I realize it's back here. Well, it's going to take the video for as long as this light gray section is like there. So make sure that it clips right to the end of your video and then hit publish and share. You can upload straight to YouTube and I hate it. I've tried it a few times. It doesn't really work right. So I always download it to my computer and then re-upload to YouTube. So for that, hit computer, export files for viewing on computers. Again, this is where it gets a little bit over my head because I don't really understand all the like 1920 by 1080 by 24 by 60. There's so many numbers, but I found that this works really well for me personally. There are all these different kinds of video options that you can pick. Like if you're just doing audio or video or whatever, I always pick this option that says AVCHD. Let's give it a second to think. This puts it in an MP4 version, which I just find is the most easily, like everybody uses MP4. You can view it on Windows Media Player, on YouTube, on Vimeo. Everything likes MP4. So for presets, I click on that. And then I personally always pick MP4 HD 720p 50. I don't really know what that means, but I know it works. I've done it other ways too. Like these are really, really high quality. This 60, 50, 24 is the frame speed. So the faster you go, or I mean, if you go to 60, it's going to be a little bit higher quality. And 24 is going to be the lowest quality. But I, like with my eyes, I cannot tell a difference between each of these. So I just go with the middle one to make it like, yeah, as good as possible. Name it, obviously, weekend road trip. Find where you're going to save it to. This just opens up like your computer. And then when you hit save, let's just go ahead and do it. Hopefully it won't slow me down. It's going to, the first thing it's going to do is render. Yay! And always renders. It takes a while to download your video. Maybe again, about for one this size, like for a 3-minute video, probably takes about 15-20 minutes. So just do that and then walk away and have it save. Excuse me. When that's done, you have the video on your computer. Oh no. So, well, we don't really need that anyway. We'd hop over to YouTube. I don't know if you guys are interested in uploading it to YouTube, but I would recommend it because it's the best viewing platform in my opinion. And you don't even have to necessarily share it with everybody. So you just go upload. Misty, I know you know how to do this. Probably all of you guys know how to do this actually, but I'm going to run through it just in case. And when you upload, you put your video here. I wish there was a better way for me to show you. I wish it was done. But it's up to you. If you want to, let me start this. If you want to have a super successful YouTube channel that is amazing, and I wish you all the best of luck, or if you just want to do a video that you only share with your friends, there have been a lot of videos that you can set it on YouTube so that it's either public, private, so only you can view it, or private if people have a link. So a lot of times I've done private if you have a link so that only my friends and family can see it, or the people who I'm sending it to. Like I did a wedding video, but I didn't necessarily want it to show up in my YouTube video. So I just made it private and shared it with them, and then they can share it with whoever. That's probably what I would recommend doing. And then, yeah, you can share it with whoever. I love giving videos as gifts and just like, you know, as little fun snippets of the weekend that we had or any fun times, because then they live on forever and I watch them again and again and again. It's so fun once you have like your own videos of the people that you have. And it's cool to just, like I do one for Andrew every year of our relationship. And so now we'll have that forever to be able to watch back. Oh, this happened in year 2 and this happened in year 3. So I really am excited to see what kind of videos you guys create. And you can totally use this for anything. I mean, I get clients that ask me to just clip out little parts of videos, or to like, maybe they are talking along and then they say something that they don't want to say later or whatever. So I'll go ahead and just clip out that little piece, re-download it, and then upload it. And it's a really just nice tool to have in your tool belt, if nothing else. But I know that you guys are all interested in these like little song videos. So I'm super excited to see what you guys create. And thank you so much for being here, especially those that are here with me live. I love you guys that are here live. I know all of you. And again, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to email me, Carrie@carriemorley.com. And please email me or Facebook message me or whatever and tell me when you've created one, because I am like super excited to see what you guys come up with. Rob and I are taking a road trip to Biloxi. I don't know where that is, in a few weeks, and I'm going to make my first one. That's so cool. Lots of great information. I'm glad I came. Good, you guys. Yay. And like I said, I know I kind of talked fast, but I wanted to get it all in an hour and a half. So I'll download the recording of this now. I'll send it to you guys by tomorrow, and feel free to like go back. I might even like, if it's helpful to you guys, I might even make like a little checklist of like, at 5 minutes in, we talked about audio. At 10 minutes in, we talked about this. So you guys can jump around because you might need to go back and review once you start actually making your videos. And that's it. Thanks again, you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.